game and playstyle that they have.
And as Fly was pointing to, in a best of 5, you definitely have room to be able to experiment perhaps a little bit more. But
I mean, you probably want to secure another win if you're MVP right now.
But we're finally here with game number 2, draft. I was going to point out, okay, if there are some of these troublesome heroes for MVP, why not switch things up and perhaps let one of the heroes that you have previously been kind of auto-banned? And I was going to point towards the Bounty Hunter. Is that a hero that you can actually let through the pool? Is that a hero you can actually address a bit better than the previous heroes that we've been mentioning, like Invoker and Furion?
It's slightly ironic to me that they put so much focus on taking the Bounty Hunter out of the equation, considering EG is one of the only teams who aren't putting a lot of emphasis on jungling. Because I could see how this would be very problematic for other teams and it would break down the lane, but because they are a bit more all over the map and help out their lanes early on, Bounty Hunter isn't as big of a threat.
I'm not sure about the bounty ban. I think because the thing is that MVP is again second pick in this game, and I don't see them first doing bounty hunter just like that. So I'm sure they have some idea of that ban, and they do go for the prophet again, but this time Invoker is banned. The heroes that are left right now for MVP, which they usually rate pretty high, is like the OD, and besides that, it could be the Witch Doctor again because it worked out the last game.
Is that where the swap is right now? What did they ban last time around EG? They banned the Invoker this time.
Last game, I'm not sure what they banned.
Was that the OD?
It was the OD, I believe. Yeah. I want to say it was OD. But we'll see what the trade is. They go with the Witch Doctor again and the OD, so instead of Invoker, they get OD. Like, again, they always get one hero they like. I do think Invoker would have been, it's like a little nicer against the Prophet.
So we can already establish the pattern here. MVP picks the Witch Doctor when they're against Nature's Prophet or against EG. It's one of the two, right? They either know that it's good against EG, or that it's particularly good against Nature's Prophet, as you were saying, the coconuts are...
It's definitely against Nature's Prophet mostly, and obviously if you did some research on MVP, they also, it's one of their favorite heroes all time. They just really like that hero. I don't think he necessarily was the game-winning pick the last game, but he's definitely good on the lane. It's a solid hero. It's nothing too insane, and they're not giving away too much by picking this.
It's more the fact that they pick it first pick that sort of surprises me a bit. So, a Death Prophet.
Once again, trying to get Sumail. I mean, what are the better matchups? You're facing up against Invoker, you're facing up against OD. Those are tough heroes to go up against in those sort of one-on-one scenarios. Death Prophet is one of the few that really stands out that can counter it. MVP Phoenix, yes, they managed to stop the Draw Ranger Visage, but it was a very close call. You put that on the ban list now?
I would consider it, because also
I think
OD is not the same.
They'll probably open up with the Vengeful again.
We'll see about that, but OD is not the same as Invoker. Invoker can fight back, especially when you go Class X. You can fight back the mass minions and push, and this time they do ban it out. OD is not the same. He needs his time. You can't really fight into Joe, Prophet, DP as OD. It's very hard. Like, OD wants to be able to hit heroes, but then when you have 3 range heroes with massive damage, you can't do that. Invoker can kind of poke them with spells from far away.
Yeah, you're pretty reliant on that BKB, right, as an OD, but when you're facing up against mass physical damage, even then, it's not necessarily a guaranteed team fight winner.
Oh, so they do leave the Spectre out this game. So maybe EG is going with the whole, give them something they like, but we will have a plan for it. Because so far, the thing I like it is that they didn't, lose confidence in the Prophet and DP, because I still think it was a very good opener.
Oh yes, definitely.
I would be surprised if we don't see Spectre here. But we'll see what MVP wants to do.
The thing is, if they pick into a Spectre immediately, that just makes them even more vulnerable to being pushed. Especially because OD is, as Tal was saying, a very different hero than Invoker in that regard. And
it feels like one of those things where if it was any other team, you'd be like, that's crazy. But MVP Phoenix have shown so much success with the most aggressive version of the Spectre.
Yeah, but they would have to utilize it so hardcore, because if Evil Genius is then committed to a full-out push strat, we've seen all the games that Spectre loses simply because he doesn't come online fast enough, or he doesn't get those kills.
There's something to mention is that EG is putting a lot more emphasis on the offlaners this game. If you notice, they're banning all the heroes that MVP likes, and that basically says it's time to go with Bristol back here.
I think it's a Sven. Or a Tiny. I don't think
Sven
it's
is good too, but I'm just thinking about what Forev is going to play. It's not that he doesn't have a big hero pool, but they have very specific heroes that he usually plays. And every time I've seen him play Wisp, I think they play the Bristleback, and I would be surprised if they don't do it this game, because that's one way to deal with pushes, that you have this massive, pig in front of your tower who can basically take all the damage and kind of run in. It's very hard to kill. So I do think this is a pretty smart way to go about it. Leave the Spectre out for now, which means EG could take it, and I think it could be good for EG too, actually.
Oh yeah, this is actually a good point that that EG might have had one thing in mind. I kept thinking of going for all-out push strats, and this is probably the change that we're seeing now. They're converting to the more safe picks, going for Lion and probably a follow-up Spectre. I think that's a very valid point. Or an Ursa. We saw them having, I think, vastly more success in that one game with Ursa than they had in any of their Spectre games.
Absolutely, and I think that the Ursa probably matches up a bit better against the OD, right? Just being able to like burst down that hero as fast as possible, right? Not let him be able to get the opportunity to get right click after right click in.
I think Ursa is going to be pretty okay, especially if they go Wisp Bristleback. That means, there it is, that their safe lane is going to be strong with Ursa. If they pick Spectre, that means, alright, they go for the Enigma. This is something that we did when we played against Wisp Bristleback, because Enigma is very good against Wisp in general, and he's fairly okay against Enigma. We just, like when we run that draft, we definitely made some mistakes in our picks and we lacked damage very heavily, but this game, EG is not lacking damage, and Death Prophet is a very good hero against Bristleback and Wisp. So I do like the Enigma pick.
Do you think they feel there's room for a Spectre pick now? Because they'll have to match up against the Bristleback on the lane and won't necessarily have a lot of support outside of the Lion, because the Enigma be in the jungle most of the time.
Something to actually mention is that the reason why Spectre is so good in this meta is because when a team has a small advantage of, some golden XP, when you get one kill, even if it's like 10 minutes into the game, you're still gonna get so much. You're gonna kill a Witch Doctor for 500 gold. So Spectre is actually an insane hero in this patch, and that's why it's also doing so well in pubs, is that even if you lose the early game, all it takes is one kill and you're going to be back in it again. So I think Spectre, even if you pick it and not have a great game, you're going to come back, because the EG's lineup right now is looking very strong. I'm not sure if they pick it. Ursa is banned out, so the MVP doesn't want their lane to go bad. So we'll see if EG wants to go like down the Spectre route, which is okay. I think it's just okay this game, or they want to go into something else.
What is an appropriate response to a Spectre, if that is going to be the choice from EG? MVP Phoenix obviously going to have that in mind if we do as well. Juggernaut an appropriate response for a safe lane carry?
I don't think Jug is particularly good against neither Enigma nor Nature's Prophet. Then again, they have a lot of heal that would benefit. If they can stand behind and cover the healing ward, that would be pretty insane.
We've seen this before from MVP Phoenix. They really like the healing ward with Wisp combo.
Exactly. So it's probably a good bit.
The good thing is that NP is actually okay against healing ward, because you can always TP in the back and try to get it with trees or with an auto attack.
True.
So Jugger is not the best pick, but at the same time MVP picks what they're comfortable with. So I would not be too surprised if they go Jugger. I think either way it's going to be some comfortable hero, where it's going to be like a Juggernaut, a Slark, one of those types of heroes. Even the Spectre is still available.
Oh yeah, even the Spectre actually, because they have the Wisp already, that can combo a lot. They can suddenly outnumber EG anywhere on the map, despite EG having a Nature's Prophet.
Yeah. So they ban out the Slark. One thing also is that they currently don't have a way to interrupt BKB Black Hole. So yeah, that's something we also had in our game actually, where if it ever gets to that point when Enigma gets his BKB and he starts, getting a free hole off every game, every fight, then it becomes troublesome. So
even though you may have the better late game carries here on MVP Phoenix, just that problem alone could actually mean EG still have the team fight advantage.
Enigma is a carry in himself, especially when there's no way to interrupt Black Hole. Like, you don't want to go late game against Enigma if he gets Refresher and he becomes this massive thing you can't fight with. And they do go Jugger, so MVP wants to end this not too late. They want to get Bristol to that unkillable point, and then they just go with Healing Ward and Wisp, and EG has okay damage, but not incredible damage. So.
There's something to be said about Enigma as well. It also serves a pushing role. Yeah, they could still commit to a sort of all-out push that has sufficient late game as well and go for the Lycan.
Yeah, Lycan with the Enigma Eidolon, so I was thinking about the same. Anything else that stands out, Tao?
That is definitely true. I mean, I just want to mention that MVP actually has no wave clear whatsoever. This is entirely up to Wisp Bristleback, or basically the Bristleback getting huge. If the Bristleback is not huge, then nobody can stand in front. So I'm not sure what EG wants to go for here. They have a couple options. The Lycan is definitely an interesting idea.
There's also not a lot of disciple on MVP side of things, so interesting.
That came out of left field.
That is a good pick. Another good hero against Bristleback. Yeah, pretty okay against OD, good against Wisp in general, and is strong on lane. So I think that was a pretty smart pick.
It's alright, I still would have preferred the Lycan, or even better, have RTC actually play Lone Druid.
But that is something that we've talked about, is that MVP Phoenix are pretty reliant on being able to win their laning phase. Razor does kind of prevent that, right? The Wisp Bristleback would have had a much better time against the Lycan, right?
It can go two ways, but it's definitely better than Lycan and Lone Druid for winning the lane.
All right, guys. Game number 2 is here. Evil Geniuses versus MVP Phoenix, with MVP currently 1 game up. Toby 1 and Blitz, take it away.
Thanks a lot, Cap. Yes, we are back here for game number 2 to see if MVP can keep the train rolling against Evil Geniuses as they 5-man aggressive smoke into the EG jungle. Before we have the clash, Blitz, again, some quick thoughts on the draft.
I actually really like that point that Fly had brought up, is MVP doesn't really have any wave clear whatsoever, so without the Bristle being like the man in front, it's going to be really hard for them. Plus, their strategy is kind of just, let's run at them, not look behind. If it doesn't really work out, they're gonna be pretty hard pressed to stop the Nature's Prophet from split pushing, for example. The Jug most likely isn't gonna go for a Battle Fury or anything like that. So they're fairly heavily reliant on winning this mid game. Probably going for the Roshan early for QO is gonna be pretty key here, and Forev getting the amount of farm that he did when they played it last time. I do like the synergy though. Like, there's a lot of it. The amount of heals that they have going for them, the amount of saves. You've got the Wisp relocate, you've got the OD Astral Imprisonment. When it comes to just 5-manning down, once they have the Aegis, it's going to be incredibly hard for EG to fight into that. Which is why they've got really strong laning heroes that can also team fight.
Wow, okay, that was a little bit louder. It's good to have, like, both teams. I think about, like, they got so much they can work with. I want to see how the timings will clash later on. For now, it's just the early game stage. We see Enigma try and farm up inside of his jungle. MVP did a pretty, like, with the smoke move, they're able to control up a lot of the EG jungle. So Fear's not going to have a lot of room to move, but luckily, with the extra addition of the camp to the top lane of the Radiant side, he's going to have at least some areas he can farm on, and just have to track down the other sentries that were also around. They also pinged out the fact that the Observer Ward was placed down by MVP. That was earlier done by PPD. It's like, if you commit a sentry ward to that, you're going to accept the fact that these other camps are blocked for another 3 minutes.
Nature's Prophet pulls the wave. Already getting some levels. He's gonna use his level 2 with this too. And that's where it's crucial, just because he has the TP in. Q already getting aggressive on mid, but isn't gonna lead to too much, as Sumail should have some regen flying into him soon.
Now that courier hasn't come out yet. No, now it is. He just picked up the salve.
Yeah, I would have been really surprised if he decided to go for the naked bottle here.
Wonder why he waited until he had like 300, 400 gold for that.
Probably thought he could get away with it at first, but OD is such a strong hero in the laning phase that it's really difficult just to hit him head on.
Okay, so now Fear is going to realize that his 2 camps are blocked. This makes such a huge division inside the Radiant jungle. Like, it's almost impossible to make a proper progression with your conversions this way. At least RT's got a great way to keep Forev off that bottom lane. But again, we're in this position where it's MP, obviously not QO this time around, because of the switch up, but you're going to have MP getting a lot of free farm on this safe lane as the Juggernaut. What can Universe really do to stop it? And should he do anything to stop it?
There's not a whole lot that you can do to stop that to begin with, just because most likely Universe is just going to keep sending the treants forward to scout for where people are. And
PPD, the neutrals moved over and blocked him up. The clamp comes a little bit late. Now Universe TPs himself over the Plasma field. It reaches barely from Arteezy. So they're able to kill off the Wisp and get first blood in favor of Evil Geniuses.
Really nice first blood for them as everybody rotates over, and this is what you want out of your Nature's Prophet, to be active as possible on the map. They're going to make the move for mid because they know that the Nature's Prophet is going to heal.
That Spirit Siphon is going to make life a little bit more difficult. And they don't really have enough damage. QO hitting into the Death Prophet, but it's a level 1 orb.
Yeah, and that Spirit Siphon heals for so much, and Universe managing to walk right by with full everything, actually. I thought he was going to go for the jungle below, but just happened to be walking by, and that Spirit Siphon killed much more than either of them expected.
Still with the movement for Rev. Right, we're 3 minutes in, and it looks like they've got themselves a quad stack of Ancients on the field. So MVP's being very vigilant about making sure they've got that burst farm for the Bristleback, everything he's missing on the offlane, and everything which the Enigma economically gains as an advantage over MVP. I'm not going to say it's all going to be repaired, but it's definitely going to go well towards it.
Wait, did you say quad stack?
It's actually a triple stack.
I was like, 3 minutes into the game, Toby.
Yeah, not possible.
Really confused me there for a second.
Just to keep you on your toes, but it's, yeah, meant to say triple.
Yeah, I think this is pretty much what you want out of the Bristle, because this isn't a hero that you want to sacrifice whatsoever. So you want this hero to get as much as possible. Like Fly pointed out, and we saw in the previous games, MVP want this hero to be kind of the true one position for them. They want this hero to run in, absorb a lot of the attention so that the heroes like the OD and the Juggernaut can just kind of play back, do their own thing. As Febby stacks it up once again, and he's just going to go for the suicide as he's bought out. Wants to be able to refill the bottle fast, doesn't really care about the 50 missing gold.
It means too, when he TPs down that bottom lane, he can bring forever without actually having to miss out bottom charges.
Yeah. I think the best thing about this lane too that EG have is it's so strong when it comes to offensive firepower. Look at PPD, he's going to leave with the stun.
Real trouble now on this bottom lane, losing a lot of life, and no, it won't be enough to survive, not through the Razor. Perfect initiation, and well, it's kind of surprising because Febby actually TP'd himself into the middle lane to assist QO there, trying to refresh up his bottle as opposed to helping out the Bristleback who was a little bit lower.
Yeah, I thought he was also going to go for the Bristle at bottom, but they decided to try to make the move mid with the DD rune. Sumail spots it coming a mile away. Even the Witch Doctor rotated over, which is going to allow Universe to get some XP out of this top lane. And MP is getting a decent amount of farm, but still, you don't want Universe to just get free XP in a game like this.
Yeah. And you're seeing overall with the advantage, now we're pushing around 1500 in both Golden Experience, going the way of EG. Their laning phase has just been really, really damn good.
I mean, the best part of this game so far is that they're able to zone out the Bristle with just 2 heroes, and that's what the Razor gives you versus the other heroes that Mail could listed. Because if you go for the Lycan or something of that nature, you're not going to be able to get in close like this.
This could be problematic.
Oh, that's a lot of cool sprays.
Yeah, there's 4 stacks on him for Rev. You'll need at least another 2 though to do this. And that's 1. And the second one, 1 second time, it's going to be enough damage. The question is, no, the question is answered. PVD's TP in just in time, and Febby's also in a world of hurt. Universe's TP in allows him to get a rebuttal kill onto both of the heroes. And we go into middle lane as well. QO now having a crack, but with the Exorcism triggered, QO is very apprehensive about doing this, and they need more damage to kill off the Death Prophet. The Spirit Siphon giving life back. The Omni Slash is up, so MP's rotation over will again be a tit for tat style kill.
Still, that was so good for EG. They were able to make that work even with the 3-hero rotation. Sumail somehow managed to get the kill on the OD. At the very least, he's going to get more XP out of that trade. And he's almost got a full level over that Death Prophet. And at bottom,
there's TP support on the way. That's OD coming in right now. He'll look for an opening. He's got imprisonment. Now also with a tether. Fear in a world of hurt. He can't get himself out of this one. He had the Black Hole. Yeah, with that paralyzing cast bouncing down to him. QO continues to steal the intel, and he just throws the ulti out anyway. Arteezy's still on the run, and Forev is in hot pursuit. There's already 3 quill sprays here, and maybe Arteezy can try and deny himself up to the Ancients. Lets the blast of field go, but he's too far away. Couldn't kill off Febby, and that's 3 kills going the way of MVP.
And now they're going to go for the stack 2. That was a fantastic trade for MVP. And what I really like about their playstyle is that even these early mid heroes like the OD, not the best at rotating, but he's going to commit for the TP, try to help his team out. We saw it in the game earlier where the Quaswex Invoker from minute like 5 or something like that was willing to move to the bottom lane. They just want to get active, try to help out that offlane as much as possible, because they realize bo5 is not the type of player that you want to stack.
And you can't get over there to stop him. Again, they go for this bottle play. Kuro actually missed it. I think he meant to throw his bottle onto Febby so he had a full refresh, and he failed to do so. But the stag is now taken. And this injection of levels too, Dubu's going to have his level 6. Febby's also very rapidly approaching the relocate. And did Dubu actually get it? Yeah, he just cracked over level 6.
Yeah, and that's almost going to mean the full Vanguard for the Bristleback or the mech. It's most likely going to be the mech. It's kind of the standard play here for Forev. And they want a mech carrier with a strategy like this. MVP, what they want to do, I think, is get aggressive into the jungle, try to get a gank off, and then immediately go for the Roshan if possible. But EG, they're finally playing this proactive game. They couldn't do this with the Drow Ranger, Toby, and they kind of just had to allow Arteezy to get ganked. But this time around, they're going to get aggressive on MP at top. At the very least, the goal here is to get this tower. If they get the kill on top of it, that would be great. PPD, he's going to have to lead with the Hex, though, if they want this.
The downside for their timing is the fact that MP pulled that wave to the side. So he instantly was able to farm underneath his own tower away from EG. This is wasting a lot of time of this smoke. There's no observer ward. Actually, yeah, there is. They just saw it. That dire observer ward on the cliffside next to the Radiant Tier 1 tower, it saw the movement of the creeps to the side. Yeah. So they know it. The warning flags have come out for MVP, and they're backing out. Arteezy's also bailed.
What tipped them off before that too, though, Toby? You noticed that the Jug immediately started running top above the tree line was because there was a bottom lane pushing in. Nobody was there to farm that. And that's the most common move in Dota right now, to rotate your safe lane carry, to be able to kind of push that tower down without a lot of resistance. Like before, whenever you had the one position, it would almost just exclusively, you make a move around the map while he farms the jungle. But nowadays, you're always going to bring him to fights just because of the amount of farm that he has early.
Do they try and defend this?
I think they do if they had the 6 on IO.
They don't have the 6 on IO. He's halfway through 5.
Yeah, this is a free tower then for EG.
Because it would have required like everyone to TP up. They did actually no, they didn't. Forever already TP to bottom lane. So his TP was on cooldown.
I guess the good news right now is that the Enigma still has a lot of net worth built up on him. But MVP still really good pace by them, and especially since they're being able to fight around their Bristleback now that he's got the mech available. Just one engagement would instantly lead for the Roshan as well. And we talked about how pivotal that is to MVP. They want to be able to make this OD tanky so that he doesn't have to have the help of the Wisp.
Forever really wants to get involved in this fight. Downside for PPD is with the removal of those trees, that dire observer ward does scout him out in his current position. Kuro is also going to rotate down to that bottom lane.
They want to take advantage of this right now. We saw this a lot earlier in the last game, but the concept still holds true. They want to go for the Roshan much sooner than this. They think they can get into the fight because of the mech on the Bristleback, and most likely they're right. The best way right now for EG to exploit this is to push out all the lanes, try to get 3 lanes worth of farm plus the jungle, and even then, it's an even trade if they lose that bottom tower. The important thing is they can't give up the Roshan right after it.
Well, they can keep tabs on it. You do have an Nature's Prophet on the field, so all it's going to do is just send in a couple of treants.
Oh, at top, they went for the relocate play, but they are not nearly close enough. As Universe pops the drums, and Kyo's getting pretty close, but...
You got 3 seconds left on that relocate, so it looks like Febby's going to have to leave Kyo alone here, and they just go for Universe. They have any way to cut through? Yes, they do. This round, oh, and Omni slash MP, so much of it was wasted. Wasted so much of it on the trees. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, that T1 tower under attack. Fear does have the black hole available for Rev, getting stunned up, and now Cypher, now Dubu coming, and he's made an edge of black hole from Fear, bringing 2 of them together underneath that exorcism of Death Prophet, allowing Samel to pick himself up a double kill, and they finish up the tier 1 tower to boot.
That move that they made to try to kill the Nature's Prophet just cost them so much right there. They had to expend the Juggernaut ultimate, they still couldn't kill the Nature's Prophet, and most importantly, the OD TP got cancelled as a result. They absolutely can't afford to lose these mini engagements. Losing the mid tower as well, they're going to lose a lot of control of their own jungle. MVP, they're going to try to strike back right here because, again, they still have a lot of things going for them. They've got the healing ward maxed out already. Going a build that normally you don't see. Usually it's just 1 or 2 levels of it, but they want to try to get aggressive, go for the 5-man. This bottom tower is pretty important for them to be able to take the Roshan too.
Okay.
They're just forcing the lane. They're trying to exploit the extra tether heal. Yeah, sure, go for it. Fabi's also got a rune to bottle up. With his movement out, the pity reveals the fact he's there, and yeah, you see the Treant turn towards Roshan. So if MP's going to do this, he's going to do it knowing full well that EG is aware of what's happening, and you're already seeing the TP movement from Evil Geniuses. Samel coming in a little bit closer. QO is going to rotate down, and MVP, they will try and contest this. MP's having to take time to kill off these damn Treants, while QO is able to get rid of a couple of the conversions. He needs to get himself back inside that pit and help out the rest of his team. They will end this, but man, RKTZ comes in, finds a feel a little bit of damage on top of Rev. He doesn't have mana for his mech yet until he triggers off these one charges of his. Roshan is down. OD's got the Aegis model and the Death Ward. Dubu, fantastic position. PvD will end up cancelling it off, but maybe the damage has already been done as QO moves forward. That spin from MP. He still has no ultimate. Febby getting it fingered down by PPD, but it's Universe out of positions. There a stun. No, there's not. There's the imprisonment. That'll catch out the TPing Prophet. And he'll ensure the kill into the hands of the Bristleback, in fact. So a 1-for-1 trade-off. You trade your support for an Aegis Prophet, and MVP still hold the Aegis the Immortal.
Very surprised that they weren't able to kill the Death Prophet there. Everybody was gathered around. Sumail was kind of caught out in no man's land, but EG instantly there with the support. Now that he's got the Yule Scepter, it's going to be much harder for MVP to be able to take him down, but with the Aegis, Brev getting a lot more HP, QO having the drums come in soon, there should be a free tier 1 tower.
I'm surprised Fear TP'd himself down for this. He's sitting behind the tower at the moment, and QO has still got stolen intelligence. They're going to double TP in more. And Febby, well, he's going to do some work to keep Farev alive. Dubu as well. Where's that paralyzing cast to fly out? Farev starts his TP, and they're going to Yule Scepter up as the Io, who tried to tether in to help out his teammate, but his teammate was already abandoning him. Febby will die. The paralyzing cast from Dubu does buy a little bit more space. And as Farev TPing himself out to the tier 2 tower, it's still got the healing ward to regenerate up pretty quickly, but all of EG is down here.
They're soon going to have the Black Hole too. What a good combination by Universe, trapping him in with the Sprout, allowing RTZ to steal so much of that damage. And the IO tries to come in to make a difference, but everybody from MVP being a little bit gun shy. They thought that EG might just give that tower up for free, and in most cases people would, but EG surprising them with the counter. And now it's them getting aggressive. They've got the Black Hole available.
MP needs to get rid of this wave. Into the spin.
Yeah, we saw this was the issue going into the draft. Not the best way to
QO's
clear
rotation.
this.
Who do you find? It's the imprisonment over on RTZ. Farev trying to become that buffer, turns his back. RTZ wants to get out that black hole. Available for Enigma. He's not close enough. Right now, Sumail is doing most of the damage to the paralyzing cast. A real problem in the EG work. And there's your black hole. Catching Tubu. Tubu turns the ulti on the relocates on its way out. It's trying to make you make a save, but the damage is already done. It's Fear going down. The Aegis model will pop, but RTZ will fall as well. The TP out from Universe is successful. But it's a double kill for the Witch Doctor of Dubu. They hold the tier 2 tower, and by the looks of it, with everything expended from EG, nothing will stop MVP from taking that tier 1.
Fear was so patient with that black hole, and it looked like it was going to lead to more, but MVP a little bit too tanky for that. And with the Aegis up on QO, they were just looking for the engage. Didn't really matter how. EG got a little bit tricked into thinking that it was going to do more for them, but no finger of death. They weren't willing to commit the exorcism. And this is going to mean a free tier 1 tower. They might even continue to go with the black hole on cooldown.
Maybe not with Dubu being picked off.
That was not the play that he wanted to make. Way too far away from his teammates.
It looks like he was trying to just put down some wards, that fresh one being planted. But EG also saw it being planted.
Yeah, he decided to go by himself when EG knew full well that his team was not behind him. And at top, MP is going to push this lane out. Is going to go for the Battle Fury to provide his team with some wave clear. Some way to get rid of these Treants. Really curious to see what item build Nature's Prophet decides to go for.
Towards mid. Prophet TP's in, going up to QO. Fear with a Malphur stuns. He can potentially commit the Midnight Pulse as well. But QO still fairly tanky, and he'll trigger a drum charge to escape. The rest of EG wasn't rotating fast enough.
They're just going to heal him up, send him on his way back. Looks like the Wisp might come in. Does he really want to use all 3 bottle charges though?
Probably not.
I think the better move is just to go back.
Yeah. Well, EG already starts his push. Dubu has to slow it down with a coconut. Bounces over to PPD, and they'll commit the exorcism to do this. MP's coming in from a nice position. He's got a level 2 ultimate. There is that Radiant Observer Ward, so if he moves through the tree line, EG will be aware of his presence. But Febi's also waiting for the right time. Any kind of relocate save or just a tether in to help out Forev. As Spear, remember there is no black hole, but they find MP. He came in through the rear. Finger of Death, but that one, it's not going to happen. It's not even required. That Death Wall from Dubu also not doing anywhere near enough work, but Universe trapped inside of his own sprout. They need more damage to come out from Forev. He's doing a hell of a lot of it anyway with those Quill Spray stacks really starting to rack up the PPD, draining out the mana. Arteezy's now finally coming back down again, but the relocate save will make sure these last 2 players of MVP will stay alive.
So that ward saved so much for them right there, as they were able to get the jump on MP before he's able to get that critical Omni Slash off. They also needed the healing ward and the Blade Fury just for the additional team fight.
That's not characteristic missing stun. Arteezy's taking some of the damage, but it's 77 points of it. Febi came back with Forev, and Forev, there's 16-1 charges on the Aya, but he's not going to commit him right now. There's no reason to chase.
Roshan's going to be up in 4 minutes. EG getting a pretty good amount of gold right here as they continue with the 5-man behind the Exorcism, and MVP just being a little bit sloppy with these fights.
Can't really afford to do this, especially as EG are hitting some sweet times on their items now. That's an 18-minute Blink Dagger arriving for PPD. And Universe's split push is going to get a little bit more harder to deal with. Phase Boost drums, and looks like Maelstrom will be his next major item.
Yeah, PPD played that fight so well, saving the Finger of Death just to absolutely secure the kill. Made sure too that his initiation on the Juggernaut wasn't spotted, made it so that they split up that fight, and MP desperately needs to be able to get something off before they're gonna know that he's there. And when it comes to ward vision, it just feels like EG has been on the ball in a game like this. They're gonna make their way over, 2 heroes smoked up. This is the perfect tandem to do it too. They've got the blink up on the line, the first reveal of it.
Oh, the spin, so quick from MP. The Dire Observer Ward was on that hillside, so the smoke broke just a fraction of a second early, which gave him the early warning sign.
Still, almost felt like he should have been able to get that one off. MP, quick fingers, almost has the Battle Fury now, and Trev is just going to push in these lanes. And this OD, though, must feel so uncomfortable. Kyo is the type of player where he feels like he's going to have effectiveness when he has items, and right now all he really has is the drums and the bit booster. A lot of tankiness, but not a whole lot of damage. And definitely not the item set that Kyo is used to having. He's going to have to rely pretty heavily on this Bristleback and Juggernaut to deal the damage for him.
Well, the Bristleback's in a good position to do it. Crimson Guard fully completed, as well as having that mech on him. Forev is one hell of a hard target to kill, especially when the IO is going to be behind him.
Yeah, and the Maelstrom is going to be the item of choice for Universe, and it's the item that I thought he would get originally. It just gives you everything that you need as a Nature's Prophet. You already have a lot of tankiness.
Top lane, TPs are on their way right now with that Spirit Siphon going on top of Forev, but a lot of rotation coming in from MVP. Paralyzing cast, look for that Death Ward. Dubu almost blocking in Q1, but the hammer will drop down. Fears on the sideline. Arteezy, he cannot escape. The spin just keeps chasing him out as the Iowa finds the kill, and now it's an isolated Death Prophet PPD. The blink is on cool, and he needs to make some space with a good stun, and he finds 2, but the paralyzing cast still chasing Samael down. The Finger of Death that doesn't do anywhere near enough damage. That healing wall has repaired almost all the damage that was done in the initial part of the fight. 3 heroes lost from EG and MVP. They are a wall of life, slowly walking forward towards EG. And Febi's not even giving up on PPD.
And this is exactly how they wanted to take this fight. Being able to just heal through to continue and sustain the push. They've got the frontliners for this now too. And that's going to be a pretty sizable injection of gold. EG overrating how tanky they were in that fight. The Exorcism not doing nearly as much as they thought it would.
It's a crazy thing too for MVP, like directly after, because the amount of physical damage they've got. Like, you're running a team with an OD, but you can still bring down a tier 2 tower with like the 20 seconds of death time that was left on EG. Yeah,
the Bristle works really well too with the OD. Being able to constantly refresh his mana, that's usually going to be the issue for Bristlebacks, but
oh, they're jumping in. PPD, nice on QO. That tower still on 2 HP. QO will finish the job. He'll die for the cause. Forev, he lets the mech go, but yeah, there's not enough saving mechanisms for him. Universe, only keep it in a long, long way. Forev, they're not really ready to go here. Febi, well, he can't tether away. He's got a Ghost Scepter, and, well, okay, Arteezy will just attack him.
So really good rebuttal kills is they do lose their tier 2 tower at top, but are able to clean up some of the heroes, and
MP wasn't involved.
Yeah, EG's still in a good position right now just because of how farmed their 2 supports are, but the Enigma is starting to fall behind, not nearly as good as he was 5 minutes ago, just because he's been participating in a lot of these fights, but he hasn't come out alive at the end of them, Toby.
I still haven't even really felt his control factor. Like there's been a couple of moments where it's like, yeah, that black hole's been really good, but it's just to make the fight even cleaner for him. And now it's MVP's vision, which is watching EG move. MP just needs to stay away from EG. He's got his Battle Fury up and running, and even after having that Battle Fury, he's now got another 1600 gold 21 minutes in. Relocate up to top.
EG. They're gonna lose their Razor.
There's not much that will really stop this. He'll start his TP. Oh, wow, they're too far away. Paralyzing cast. Dubu!
That was such a huge mistake by MVP. They absolutely had the kill on him, but both of them got stuck in the corner right there. They couldn't get through. MVP is going to be so disappointed. That should have been the safe laner down for EG.
That felt really weird for Dubu to also commit the death ward at that point. Like, why would you just keep chasing and keep the vision up?
Yeah, I think they... I don't know.
It felt odd. Now it's MP who can be initiated on. Yulset from bottom lane, destroying the black hole here from Fear, ensuring the kill. Universe will join him. And MP, there's no TP support that will get there in time to help him survive. And this is a really bad time. 1 minute on the sideline of PPD. Instantly, well, Fabby, a little bit of a missed tether. But he will find that Roshan is alive, and the exorcism was only just triggered. So EG will actually have some damage to start off their Roshan attempt.
We're seeing the strength of the Razor against the Bristleback as Rev's trying to...
They're coming down?
Yeah, they want to contest this one. This is not a Roshan that they want to give up, especially with Sumail being as low as he is.
He can commit the regeneration rune, he's got bolted up.
Still, the exorcism is down. They can't really fight without it, and all it really took for them to be able to secure this was the buyback from MP. Well worth it. Oh. Universe is going to get the Blink Dagger now, and he's going to start going for the split push.
Most of the work was actually done by the exorcism of EG.
Yeah.
Actually helped MVP to take that Roshan.
Good news right now for EG, though, is once the BKB comes down to the Enigma, there's nothing, actually, that MVP have that can stop this, as Sumail's going to get body blocked up.
Oh, trouble to get away, especially when Kuro's right behind. Fear will give the mech charge. PPD, nice done, keeping Febby out of the mix, but he kind of wanted to be for the moment. Whilst Kuro and Forever to keep the chase going. With Azelgu plus that Rod of Atos up, PPD cannot walk away.
Still, they much would have preferred to get the DP there, as EG doing a good job of pushing in the lanes, making sure that MVP can't get a whole lot, and if they do, they're going to lose that top tier 2 tower. They've got to make a decision right now if they want to go for this defense.
Here's the relocate. Up they go. And already into the trees. The Wisp Spirit's going to connect on Universe, but Kuro's too far away to do anything about it.
Yeah, and the commitment from the Blink Dagger immediately paying off for Universes. He needed some sort of escape mechanism, especially when he sees the relocate coming in. Immediately going to go for the TP again, and MVP in a similar situation as they had last game, where their catch isn't the best, especially now that you've got the Blink Dagger on the Nature's Prophet. You'll always see the relocate coming and should be able to get out of there. But MVP, they really want to be able to fight if they can in the next 2 minutes.
And what a way to really have both of these games. Again, we enter into a Battle of Trades universe, blinking forward, trying to get that Sprat over on Dubu. That would have just enabled Sumail to move forward and kill off that Witch Doctor. Instead, that gank fails. They'll still do damage to the tier 2 tower, but it's the trade-off time. MVP, the fortification of EG will refresh with the death of that tier 1 tower, but nothing's going to stop it from keeping on pushing forward. Forev's just an absolute beast at going through these buildings at the moment. And with the support of MP, they just survived for so long. Even with these stuns from PPD, Forev just doesn't care. He's still holding on to that mech Sumail. That's a long way forward. Is he trying to bait a fight out here? Where's your exorcism? He's not going to trigger it because he's already down. QO will find the kill. They'll take the tier 2 tower. Death Prophet will have to buy back. Universe is attacking into the tier 3 tower. But MVP, they can just keep the pressure going in MVP style.
And Universe just doesn't deal enough damage right now to be a threat.
Oh, nice stuff.
With the Aegis available, MVP still wants to take this fight, or at the very minimum, try to force the buyback out of the DP, but EG, they've got the black hole in 5 seconds. MVP, they're going to disengage. But that was a kill that should not have happened on the Death Prophet. That was going to be a free tower. Universe was not even interested in coming back for that fight.
I felt very odd anyway. Like you're running in without Exorcism turned on, then you Yule Scepter without the Exorcism on. So you're not even doing damage when you're in your protected area. Nice little read coming out from MP. I'm wondering if he's even going to go for a Blink Dagger so we can try and catch out Universe.
I think it's not a bad idea, but there's some things that he can go for.
Bump.
Probably get a Scotty or some sort of survivability item shortly after, because that's all that really is required out of MVP right now. Be able to survive the burst damage. They've got the BKB on QO. This should mean that the bottom fight is going to come soon. They want to wrap around and make sure that they can scout in front of them, especially with the Aegis carrier. And Forev at top is going to show. Can always relocate. They're looking for the 5-on-5 fight, and Arteezy, he's going to get spotted out here.
Easy, easy you want to do. QO is going to go straight into a BKB. So static link Razor, go try it if you want to. As the Hex actually it's over on Dubu. He actually managed to juke it all the way around the tree line. Universe will come in with a blink away. QO has to have the defensive imprisonment to try and save Dubu so he can get the paralyzing cast off. And there's your back going off of Fear already on the sideline. Dubu's Death Ward did so much work here. The fight was split up. Arteezy is still alive and running away from Forev, but it's actually Sumail going one-on-one with QO. He has to imprison himself up again. MP, he doesn't actually have the Omni Slash available, but they keep the chase going. Exism has another couple of seconds left to go, and well, they can't kill him in that time. He'll just start to regenerate.
Really well done by Arteezy there. For a second, it looked like he was going to run into certain death as they opened up on him, but MVP, they didn't want to commit the relocate. They wanted to make sure that EG was going to go for that fight first. If they'd instantly gone in and not been so greedy, they probably would have walked away with the kill, but by waiting it out that long, yes, they secure the kill on the Enigma and the first BKB usage, but most importantly, they allowed EG to kind of just reset that fight 1-for-1.
It's kind of crazy that like after that engagement, with all those abilities being committed, only one support from either side did die. And now maybe they go again. QO, well, they instantly break that static link, but a double stun from PPD, and it may as well be a Ravage. With the support arriving, QO's BKB will protect him. They've still got the healing ward down. He turns the ulti on Forev. It's going to come in to work with his Bristleback. Only the Aegis Immortal expended. Forev, however, he's out of mana, but it's not stopping MP with a spin on a practically 5 heroes. Femi now can tether himself forward, giving Forev more to fight with the paralyzing cast. Fear can't add any more to this fight either. Femi, they can't even kill him with the other remaining 3 EG heroes. The Death Ward forcing him back out again. Allows Forev to reposition now with that imprisonment as well. But there is the Rod of Atos. Death Prophet starts the Spirit Siphon, but with no Exorcism, there's no real big damage. Have they got any kind of big ultimate? MP's got his actually off cooldown in 5 seconds time. He's trying to get rid of the trees to do some work, but really it's the OD that's doing it solo. You are in deep now, MVP. You're under the tier 4 towers, and the He's gonna go for Universe. 5 wives underneath the Fountain of Evil Geniuses. They haven't even taken the tier 2 tower, and they reach the fountain. They'll move into the mid lane instead. That's the tier 3 tower they can start attacking into. MVP do not want to be stopped.
Any other team, I would have said, what are they doing? But MVP, perfect controlled aggression. The teamwork on the 4 stabs there too. So well done by them as they're going to take this free racks. EG, they can't commit this many buybacks that early in, and they just don't really have the heroes to be able to contest this at this phase of the game right now. Their frontliner is almost exclusively running away from MVP at all times. They don't have the burst damage to be able to deal with any of the 3 cores, and without even the Aegis EG, they can't contest the second set of racks.
Oh, it's impossible. There's just too much damage to fight against, and like everyone's at full life. The only issue you've got is the low mana over on Dubu. And if that's your biggest issue, MVP are looking great. 2 lanes of racks after a perfect team wipe against EG, and look at that graph just swing down.
I mean, I know a lot of people support MVP because they've got the whole underdog thing, but since Shanghai, this team is not an underdog. This team is an offensive juggernaut. Just do not stop running at you. They're willing to take their racks. They're willing to dive you into the fountain. And this is just teamwork at its best right now. The double bit boosters come out from Febby, almost always doing this whenever he's feeling it. There's no tactical reason for him to do this. This is just kind of his statement, we've won the game.
It's an interesting statement to have. Like you thought you could even like convert one into like a Rod of Atos or something for him. Now EG, this feels like the last roll of the dice. Bring everyone to the mid. You got every ultimate up. Remember, there is no Eclipse available for another 10 seconds, but QO just jumps in. He tries to find PPD, but the relocate, now it comes in. Forever on the back lines, but PPD, even from the tree line, he's getting a great initiation. Arteezy's dealing a huge amount of damage, kills off the healing ward, but the 4 staffs, they just let them fight even harder for Rev. Right in the back of the Death Prophet. They need more, and there's the relocate save that, pulling him just far enough away. They're back over to the Ancients. The Exorcism has now been blown. And remember, this was the last roll of the dice 3G. They needed something from this, and they haven't gained anything.
Yeah, and without Roshan available either, EG, they're not going to be able to parlay their ultimates into anything. Luckily for them, Black Hole wasn't expended, nor was the BKB from the Enigma. They still have some time to make this work, but For a second there, it looked like it was going to be a lot worse for MVP, and Universe is actually going to be most likely killed or immediately crit struck down as MP with the one hitter, and MVP, they're going to start pressing forward now.
I love MP's item build as well. Like, even though you got the Yash, you got the Battle Fury and all that kind of jazz, that you could go for bashes and stuff like that, but no, he goes the Desolator.
Dubu, did you see the arrow he drew? For his team saying, let's get down there.
They can still wait. Like, Roshan's up in 15 seconds.
Nah, this team's
they don't want to wait.
They're so hyped right now. A team like this, like when you're drawing on the map, buying double vid boosters, you're so confident right now. You just want to go for it.
And why not? They'll remove this final outer tower of evil geniuses and expose the tier 3 tower in the bottom lane. They are looking so damn good. A full AC on Forever as they move forward. Like, he doesn't care about the damage from the tower. He'll tank it all.
Part of the issue too is that they know that Sumail doesn't have that exorcism, and that's what that mid fight cost them.
They're smoking.
Fear goes for the smoke, but it's gonna get popped almost immediately. They're not gonna be able to do anything now with that black hole surprise. MVP just has to run into it now.
Even the static link is now waiting for the next 24 seconds. For Rev, take that as an indication to go forward. Both Exorcism as well as static link down. No real big damage. PPD comes in for the double stun. And well, where is the extra follow-up? There's your black hole. Curo doesn't walk into a defensive relocate as well as imprisonment. The black hole does absolutely nothing at the end of the day. MP jumps in, slices up PPD, and he'll go for more. In fact, he's just waiting for the Omni Slash, and there she goes. This really is the game. MVP are looking like they're going to take a 2-0 RTZ with a triple kill on MP, finishing him off, and there it is. Good game, well played. EG are staring down the barrel of a complete whitewash from the Koreans against America.
And what looked like a really good start from EG instantly turns around as MP just completely rips them up in that fight. Rev is more or less unstoppable in these engagements too.
This MVP lineup. The crazy thing is too, we're not seeing anything we haven't seen before. It's just the same high quality play, the great combinations, the great laning phase, and EG just didn't look